Welcome to Bay Area Sports Report, and today we will be talking about Day 10 of 49ers training camp. Today's was very up and down a little bit. So today we're going to be talking about three segments. One uh, is some standouts, some good and not so good, who did okay, some good and some not so good. We're also going to be talking about some players who are standing out right now, and then we're going to be talking about some highlights of training camp I have so far. So let's start off with the highlights of the training camp so far. As Will Pauling, who was yesterday, was as came out of Notre Dame, is a five at 5'10", is making his impact physicality as a blocker. He's tough. He's tough, man. I love Will. That well, this is Leonard Hankerson, by the way. I love Will. That kid comes in. He works. He stayed here the whole off season. He's the hammer in the running game. Right now, he's been the most physical receiver. I'll tell you. I'll tell you that much. He's also getting work as a punt returner. The UDFA is making a serious case for himself. I really like this for Will Pauling because He's I think he's one of I love that we picked him up. He's a great receiver. He's been doing so good for the 49ers. I love that he's doing well in the physical, and I think he does have a chance now that Jacob Cowing is now injured with a hip flexor injury. I think he does have a chance. I think Watkins and Robinson, they all have their positions filled. I think Stribling, Debo, and Mike Evans, they have their positions filled. But what are you thinking about? What about Christian Kirk? I feel like he's probably going to get traded unless he comes back like tomorrow or in the next 3 days of training camp. If he comes back like one of those days, then I think he has a chance to just stay. But if he doesn't, then I would go with Will Pauling. I won't mind that, especially on the run game where we weren't very good on that. I think we need receivers who are very physical in the run game. You have Debo who's physical. You have Mike Evans who's physical. You have Dejon Stribling who's physical. You have Robinson who's kind of physical. You have Pauling who's physical. Watkins not so much, but I won't mind it. I think Trent Irwin. As for Trent Irwin, he had some very good passes. Also, that I want to talk about also. So he did very good also for today's training camp, but I think he's more of a training camp body, but so far people are calling him River Craycraft, who was a very good solid receiver. I think he was very solid, but I don't see that much space unless they would cut Demarcus Robinson on the team. But other than that, I really don't see it. I feel like Demarcus Robinson is just a better option because you have that connection with Purdy, and I think it's just awesome that they're building that trust between him and Purdy right now. So I think it's just best to just keep him. So I think but he had some good highlights in today's training camp, so it's good to see that. Marcus Robinson was also been very good. He's just been balling in training camp so far. I think he's not gonna be. He's been the solid, durable receivers, which is one of the more surprising things. But which is kind of not a good thing. But at the same time, it's kind of good that he's there. But teams aren't afraid of him. But he is gonna be getting you some yards though. So I like that he is doing that so far. The 49ers also signed a center today. As you can see here, Doug Kramer Jr. They also released Nick Zakel, which thank you. This is actually one of the good things. Like, don't get me wrong, I think he's young. It's good. He's a young player, but Nick Zakel, I just didn't like him. He wasn't good at pass blocking. He wasn't good at run blocking. Like, this was the right move. This is actually one of the good moves that they actually made finally. As for Dejon Stribling has been absolutely balling, and this is one of the players I wanted to highlight on this. He's just been so good for the 49ers. He's just been one of the best receivers out there. He hasn't even played a training camp preseason game. We'll have to see on that. But he's just been so good. As a lot of players are talking about him. Leonard Hankerson is talking about him. as he's saying here, it's not just that he's catching it, he's strong, he's attacking it, he's stepping back to the ball with the contested catch situation. He's able to come down with a lot of those. Right now, I can't really recall him putting one on the ground. And then he also said this. I'm not saying it worked in his favor, but he would turn it down. Pick 33, and you're not going in there and sticking your face on first round DNs. It speaks a lot about you. As for Dejan Stribley taking over, I love this. This is one of my favorite quotes. As taking advice from Debo and Mike Evans. Route running, physicality, the way they can manipulate routes, getting open, creating separation, and having strong hands at the catch point. This is the right thing for Stribling to take advice because Evans is one of the best boundary receivers in the NFL. Debo Samuel, the most physical receiver, who's drawn comparisons, which Dejan Stribley draw comparisons to Debo Samuel. Like, I love this that he's just taking advice from this, and I just hope that he takes that and he shows why he was one of the best. And he's proving these doubters wrong. He just needs to show it in the NFL in preseason. As for Lenore, he says he's not. I ain't gonna lie. Number one is his hands. I would say him just catching away from his body, just kind of trusting his hands. He's got that catch radius where he's gonna catch it away from his body. He's got strong fingertips. Upton Stout saying, I like the way he used his hands and his speed. He's going to be a good addition for us. I just love what Dejan's dribbling's been doing. It's just awesome to see that on how good he's been doing. He's just been one of the best receivers out there. I love that what he's done. It's just awesome to see him stepping up for the 49ers. It's just fantastic to see for him to be out there. And I love that they're building that connection. It's awesome. As for the injury news, Nick Bosa is not practicing due to soreness, but it but if it is, but so far I'll get to but hopefully it gets better. But I'll get to more on him in just a minute. But he's injured. Here's George Kittle continuing to rehab his still rehabbing still. As it shows in here, tight end George Kittle did the most extensive work we've been able to see so far in this camp. He was running routes, catching passes, and doing some conditioning. Seems to be moving quite well as he bounces back from his Achilles injury, which is a very good thing for George Kittle, especially coming off an ACL. It's just amazing to see that. But as for George Kittle, like, I've always been up against, like, oh, he shouldn't play, and I'm just doing that because of safety. But if he wants to play in week 1, then that's fine by me. But all I'm asking is for him to just be safe and for him to be okay. That's all I'm asking of. That's all I'm asking for George Kittle if he wants to play in Australia. But I would advise him to just stay in train in for week 2. That's all I'm saying. Mike Evans and Christian Kirk are not practicing today. Don't listen to this. He thought he was straight out injured, but he's actually just out there. Here's more Dejan's dribbling, stretching out. But so far, I saw Mike Evans and Kirk working on the sidelines. I think I saw in one post. Here's Debo Samuel working on field kicking returns at the start of practice, which he has been rumored to do, which I won't mind. But as long as he can stay healthy and be like the receiver too, especially now that it's kind of probably so I won't mind that. So I don't hate that. Christian McCaffrey is also out. As for tightness, I'll get into more in a minute. And Brock Purdy was dialed in at training camp practice. Brock Purdy with a beautiful touchdown pass to Demarcus Robinson on the left side. There's that. Dejan Stribley has been balling with first, second, and third team offenses. The 49ers are trying to give the rookie wide receiver as many as possible that he is shining during training camp. This is from NFL Network on Omar Ruiz and Ian Rappaport. Jordan Walken continues to step up at 49ers, especially in the red zone. Probably signs for the 49ers offense. And I like that Watkins is now stepping up, especially now that Cowing is now injured. He is technically in that factor because Cowing was that receiver 5. Watkins was the 6. Now he's the 5 now for this team. And I love now that he's stepping up for this team. As for Clay Kubiak, says there is an open competition for the left guard between Connor Colby and Robert Jones. and I'll get on that into a minute. But it's been interesting because Connor Colby was looking like he was gonna win this one, and then as soon as like he did bad, they just switched it up to Robert Jones, which is very interesting. I wanted to go with Robert Jones just because just to try, but I really don't care either way. But there is one thing I wanted to do, and I think this would be the right move. But I'll get into that in a minute. As for McCaffrey, as Clay Kubiak said, it's just managing McCaffrey. As McCaffrey is a little bit sore, but will be fine. Just managing a sore, but he's fine. So, and then here's Shanahan and Raheem Morris at 49ers training camp talking it out. Then Dejon Stribling with that TD pass to Stribling on the right side of the field. And then Dre Greenlaw. I love this from Dre. As Marquise Zeus says, if linebacker Greenlaw sees that players are sleeping in the morning, he shakes them and screams at them to make sure they are ready to go. And I like that. I mean, just to get them energized. I think his energy is just electric, as it shows here. I think it's just awesome to see him back on the team. I just still couldn't believe that came back to the 49ers, so it's just awesome to see that. As for Purdy, as it says here, another strong day for Brock Purdy and the 49ers offense. Purdy went 10 of 13. A few throws were wiped out by would-be sacks and penalties in Nick Wagner's assessment. Purdy connected with wide receiver Dejon Stribling on a perfect deep corner for a huge gain, then found Demarcus Robinson for another big play that would have been a touchdown, which were those other ones. He also hit Deebo Samuel over the middle for what would have been another big gainer. The offense continues to make plays. And this was with the backups. Imagine what Purdy could do with the starters of Mike Evans, and George Kittle. Just imagine all of that if he was with the starters. It's just gonna be awesome. So, I wanted to highlight those. The next segment are the players I want to highlight. Brock Purdy, like I mentioned, as I read in that post, I think he has a chance. I don't know about MVP season. He could be close to it, but I don't know if it's going to be this year, especially now that all these injuries are adding up a bit. So I don't know on that issue. But I love that Brock Purdy is just doing so good. He's just been absolutely great. He's just been awesome for the 49ers. I love that he is really stepping up. He's been having such a great training camp. I haven't seen Brock Purdy this good in such a long time. Even 2023, he wasn't the best at it, but I haven't seen him this good in training camp for such a long time, and it's just awesome to see. As for Stribling, I can't wait to see him, like I mentioned earlier. It's awesome. I can't wait to see on how he is going to contribute for this team, and hopefully Shanahan finally uses a rookie instead of relying on Mike Evans, Deebo Samuel. If I see Demarcus Robinson as number 3 receiver, I'm just gonna lose it. But I would love this. Like, I don't mind Demarcus Robinson. I get it. Purdy has a connection with him, but I would love if Stribling was there. He's just been absolutely amazing in training camp. As we're moving to, and then Dominic Pooney, he's been good. He had that injury back then earlier in that preseason game, and that kind of derailed him, losing him confidence. But now he's starting to feel better, and it's just good to see that because you really need all the help you can get on that offensive line, especially. So it's just great to see that. Also, Carver Willis is back on 49ers practice, which thank you on that. So, which probably means Doug Kramer will probably take over for Brett Toth, unfortunately. So, that's a big disappointment. But hey, at least we signed him to a 1-year deal. So, but overall, I'm excited for Pooney. Hopefully, he turns back to being what he was in that rookie season, and can't wait to see that. As we're moving to the defense, I want to talk about Duggar and Nick Martin because Duggar, a lot of D-line coach of Chris Kocurek, and along with the linebackers coach of KJ Wright, as they highlighted him being a Mike linebacker, he could be a Will linebacker, he could be coming off the edge. It's just awesome to see that for using a guy who was a linebacker, a D lineman, and a safety. Like, it's just awesome to see him. I think he is not going to be a starter, but I do think he's going to be a special teams guy, and that he's going to be a very good developmental project. So I really like what they done. He was one of my underrated picks for Jane Duggar. I think he's very good. He's a very good coverage guy. He's good at run stopping. I looked at Brian Baldinger's highlights on what he thinks he is and that he's a gem, and he's really good at. I really love that we picked him, Jaden Duggar, up. But another player I really loved was Nick Martin, and I've been talking about him so much. Like, he's just been amazing, Nick Martin. I love this guy. Like, from being injured last season and not getting a lot of playing time to now being very good. He's just been so amazing. He's just been hitting. He's been that ball of energy. It's just awesome to see Nick Martin just being that ball of energy and just making tackles, making plays, making pass deflections. Like, it's just awesome to see that. Upton Stout, one of the most been very good, very one of the best nickelbacks. He's just been working so hard. Like, even like before training camp, I see him on these one-on-one drills with his coach and just getting better and better. And I love that from a cornerback. Like, even when you have a good season, he has that mentality of like, I want to get better and better and better. And that's what I like to see from a cornerback. That's what I like to see from that. As so, I love Upton Stout, and I think he's gonna have a breakout year in season 2. Like, he already had a good year in the first year. Imagine season 2 coming up for him. As for Grayson Halton, he was injured for half of the season, like for half of training camp. Sorry, but now he's just been redeeming himself. After that, he is starting to he's starting to get pressures. He's starting to win one-on-ones. He's starting to do very good against Jake Brendel. He's starting to do very well against Colton McKissick. Like, this is very great for Halton. He's really bounced back from the injuries that he had, and now he is starting to turn very good for the 49ers. He's starting to be reliable for the team, and it's just awesome to see that from Grayson Halton, just getting better and better every day. So it's awesome to see that. So moving on to my last segment is the good and not so goods. I already highlighted Stribling and Robinson earlier. Trent Irwin, Duggar, who also did very good. He also gave a pass breakup, so he did very good on that. Jane Duggar, very good pass breakup, very good on run stuffing. So he's a developmental project, but he's gonna work. Another one I want to highlight for winners is Jack Jones. He's also been very good as he got a pick for the 49ers. He's not competing for the starting job, but he might have a chance for Ronaldo Green, and I'll talk about him in just a second. And then Keely Herbert has also been kind of very solid, but if you start him off and just like against the Rams, like, that's just gonna be bad. That's all I'm gonna say. But I would prefer a running back free agent, and if a running back free agent now that there is a bunch of injuries now in that position. So I wouldn't mind that. So, like, I would love to, like, some of my targets I would go after are like Najee Harris is one, Gibson is one, Raheem Morris, you could bring him back. Kareem Hunt was solid. You could also bring in Miles Sanders in. So I would prefer those guys for signing for the 49ers, because especially now that the 49ers had injuries on that. But so I would prefer him to be like an RB2 guy in my view, or an RB3 even. So as for moving on to Christian McCaffrey, like, I've seen like its tightness and it's no big deal, but we've seen this before. Like, let's go back in 2024, which was let's say an injury riddled season, as he had the same tightness from last 2024 season. And then as week 1, I thought he was going to be playing. I was going to be very excited. And then as soon as I saw the news, he was going to be out with Achilles tendonitis, and I was like, oh no. Like, we've seen this before. If it's no big deal, then it's no big deal. But I'm just saying, like, they better check on McCaffrey thoroughly, because he's entering his age of 30, and we know what happens to running backs when they're at age of 30. They're not good anymore. Like examples of Sean Alexander was one where he was a very good running back and he was one of the best in Seahawks. But as soon as he reached age 30 or 31, he was not good anymore. Then after that, they cut him and then he was never seen ever again. So I would say check on him thoroughly this time. As for Debo Samuel, he was in the running back. Like he's still been a good receiver, but it's very depleted. That's why I'm saying the put those RB options for the 49ers. So for him, it's because Jordan James is injured, Caleb Black is injured, Isaac Guerendo's injured. Like it's kind of bad as he kind of came in and just broke up a pass. So like he's more better as like that's why I see like Stribling as like the wide receiver 2 instead of Debo Samuel. Like I think Debo's now gonna have to be a 3 for now, but I don't know. I think Shanahan's probably gonna use Debo as the number 2 because I think he trusts Stribling. I think Shanahan. It's just I don't think he's gonna use him as that receiver 2 option because he loves veterans so much. So as for Nick Bosa, missing his 4th day of training camp, I'll get to him in just a second. I'll talk about the other ones and then I'll get to Nick Bosa last. Kyle Juszczyk is also injured for a finger injury, but you can at least show up for at least training camp. At least you can at least show up on it, at least just one time. That's all I'm asking. Like, it's not like showing up at training camp, and it's not like you're gonna like injure yourself for some reason just for just watching. Like, you can at least just show up. I hope it's not also for a contract because I think it's just ridiculous. Because like, don't get me wrong, I think he does very good. Kyle Juszczyk for blocking, but I don't know. Like, I think paying for a fullback, it's just kind of ridiculous. I mean, you just block and you just get some receiving yards. Like, he's important to your run game. Don't get me wrong, but that's not worth paying for that much. So, I hope it's not that. So, but it's just gonna be ridiculous in my view. Ronald Green, as I mentioned, he hasn't been. He got another penalty on this. I don't think the training camp is going to affect him because he's been very good as a starter last season. But if it does affect him, then he might get benched for Jack Jones or Price Hawk or even Nate Hobbs, and that's going to be an issue because I really love Ronaldo Green. He was one of my favorite draft picks that we selected. I was so happy that we picked him up for the 49ers because especially after the 49ers were so trash as like cornerbacks and they weren't good anymore. Like I needed to get a cornerback. He was one of my favorite cornerbacks. I ranked him like number 10 in my cornerback draft board during that season. Like I ranked him number 10 during my draft board. Like he was a good cornerback and I hope this doesn't affect him on his playing. So I really want him to just be very good. I hope he can at least improve and at least maybe take notes from DeAndre Noir, at least. So, hopefully he can do that. So, Connor Colby. It's a bit unfortunate. I really thought they would just go young side, especially with Jake Brendel, who's old. Trent Williams is old. McKissick is starting to get there in a bit of age. But he just hasn't been doing well. He just hasn't been improving. And it's sad to see that. But it is what it is. And if you don't win your reps, you don't get your starting job, and that costs you. So it is what it is. As for the punt return issue, it is a bit of an issue, but I think it will get resolved. I only have it as a bit of an issue just because there's not one, but I think it's fine. I think Debo will probably be. I think probably either Watkins or maybe Junior Bergen. We'll have to see, but I don't think Bergen is gonna make it onto the roster because he has improved, but who knows? I mean, we'll have to see. But I would put in probably Jordan Watkins as that punt returner right now. Like, who else are you going to go for? And then you have Debo, and then maybe a running back. We'll have to see. We'll have to see if the running backs get healthy, though. We'll have to see on that. So, and maybe they'll sign a running back. We'll have to see. So, but, and then finally, let me get to Nick Bosa. Nick Bosa, I loved what he's done so far. He's been a very good player for the 49ers, but he's been out for 4 days, even though he's rehabbing from an ACL injury. And I see a lot of rumors that he might ask for a contract. And if he does, then I hate saying this, but they might have to trade him. And I know people are gonna think that I'm crazy on that, but if he's asking for a contract, then he's ridiculous. Like, sure, he is been getting pressures, but has he been getting sacks? Has he been getting healthy? No, like he hasn't been getting a lot of sacks lately, and he hasn't been healthy that much. Like, sure, like he's been okay, but 2024, 2025, 3 games, 2024, 14. Like, we haven't seen a health, like, after, and then, I mean, 2025, 2023, he was kind of, like, good. But, like, 2024, like, he missed some games. Like, he played most of the games, but, like, but he has his third ACL injury, and if he's asking for a contract, then I just wouldn't offer it. Like, I'm not offering a contract to an injured player who's just been having 3 ACL injuries and who's just not been producing. Like, if he is doing that, then I would just straight up trade him for like at least like a good edge at least. So like because it's like mostly ridiculous kind of, and if he's really doing that, then I really think they should just trade him because if he's asking for that contract and he's out of his ACL, then it's just not worth the risk. And you already have like terrible things like the Ayuk Tron contract, which I don't want to talk about Ayuk. It's just awful, but it was horrible. Drafting Trey Lance, that was horrible. Like trading all those 3 first round picks to the Dolphins, like that was terrible. So, but I wouldn't risk it. But overall, today's training, and then one more thing to highlight: as the 49ers tomorrow, joint practice tomorrow, the 49ers will welcome the Tennessee Titans as Robert Saleh is coming back to town as the Tennessee Titans head coach, bringing his team with him. Former DC versus old team. You already know this is going to have some fun. Let the games begin. As you know, though, 49ers training camp first preseason game will be in August 13th, 6 p.m. on Thursday. I can't wait for that game to evaluate some of the players and see how they play. So, and then tomorrow's joint practice. So, can't wait for it. And we'll just see how this goes. But for today's training camp, it was a very good day. It was solid, and it was very good for the 49ers. So, that is it for day 10 of 49ers training camp. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, share, comment down below on what you think of day 10 of 49ers training camp. And this is Bay Area Sports Report, signing off.